FriYay. Oh, I knew I forgot to do something, but it is FriYay, so I appreciate it, for Friday is amazing. Every FriYay has a special place in my heart, primarily that I get to go and sleep in tomorrow. Well, I mean, Friday is a celebration because we had a hard day at work or a hard week at work. Sometimes not a hard, I don't know. Friday is awesome. Hope you're having a great week. We missed you yesterday, or at least you missed me. I wasn't here yesterday because I was somewhere else. Stuff and things that needed to happen. And it was good stuff, but we missed you. We missed being here. This is the routine that I like. I like being able to be here for you. And today is not May the 4th. I'm not confused. The graphics I had on screen were very intentional. Yes. It was all about May the 4th yesterday. We were going to have a show, and then I found out that I had a meeting. So we didn't do the show. But I really wanted to share the Akela Draconis graphic that was sent to me because he's awesome. He's a regular on the show, at least as you know, in the comments section. And I wanted to make sure that we utilized the stuff he sent. If you're an artist, if you think you could make really great album art or show art for Ask a Traffic Cop, we'd love to see what you do. We'd love to utilize your submissions. So feel free. You could always create your masterpiece and send it to me at trafficsafetyprograms@torontopolice.on.ca. And we could select your stuff if as long as it's appropriate for all audiences, then we'd be able to share it. And I'd love to do that. Yeah. Just acknowledging, well, first off, you may have noticed a difference on the screen. There are no logos other than the Toronto Police logo. It says Ask a Traffic Cop, but does not have the YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, Instagram, those logos that are normally below me. We're checking things out. We're trying something because last time we were live on Wednesday, we got flagged for being unoriginal content. We're either so well produced, we just sound so good, that there was a belief that this may have been recorded by somebody else and just put. We are actually live. This is actually real. I don't know what TikTok had issue with, but we're experimenting. We took down the QR code. You have to type in manually now, trafficcop.ca, if you want to get into my my link tree for useful stuff and things. And the logos aren't on screen. That's it. That's the only change. And we'll see if anything happens different. Maybe we don't get flagged this time. The algorithm changes, and we have to make sure we're flying appropriately. Now, I just, again, acknowledging we have a whole bunch of people in the room, and I want to say hello to some of them. I won't read everybody's name because I can't. But Master Technician says, good morning from Peterborough. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's there. Let's see here. And yes, Chase, I did see those. We'll talk about those in a couple minutes. And who else? We got Xander and AJ and Anna, I think it's Anna, and then is it Nona or is it, you know what? I'm going to mess up that name because there's no space. Underscores matter. It really makes life easy for being able to identify first and last and separate the two. We have Alan. Good morning, and then some user with a whole bunch of numbers, and Mitchell just jumped in, and Harmon, and we got people popping in. It's great. Okay, if you want to ask questions, because. Well, you know what? Let me introduce myself, even though it generally says my name and you can see it behind me. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I work in traffic safety programs. Well, what is that? That is the magical place where we talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff all the time. It's really a big part of my life. I'm a traffic cop who talks about traffic stuff, and now I talk about it online so I can answer your police and traffic questions. We focus on traffic, but we talk about general stuff. I've even been known to talk about donuts from Krispy Kreme, because those are the ones I prefer. Now, I actually had a Krispy Kreme donut. Don't judge. I was at a meeting yesterday, and the very gracious host, who shall not be named, brought Krispy Kreme donuts. And that was cool. And it wasn't raspberry filled, so it wasn't perfect, but they were good. And they weren't microwaved for the appropriate 5 seconds, but they were good. Again, there's a way to do it properly, but there was no microwave on hand. I still appreciated it. This is not a complaint. Okay, if you are watching on Twitter, We can't hear your questions. We can't see their questions. We can't read your questions. So take your questions and go to YouTube, and the link is at trafficcop.ca. We can hear and see, well, I can't see any of you, but we can see your questions from pretty much anywhere else. If you're on TikTok, JD and the gang are in the back room cutting and pasting. It's a full-time job. And then, so they'll be able to select your questions. Please put a Q in front of them, just like Be Gone. Is it Be Gone? Did. The Q makes it easily identifiable because people get into conversations. We have a lot of discussion that happens behind the scenes. So if you're asking questions, please put the Q in. That'll help identify it as a question. Now, are there rules for customizing your license plate? Funny you should ask, because there are some. Well, there's one in particular. There's been other videos in the past, and Chase, mentioned the fact that there's a video that I've been tagged in a whole lot. And what's the deal with that? So they took I can't really play it. Can I play it for you? No, I can't play it for you. Maybe I can. Here we go. I think I took a screen grab of it. Hang on. So someone wrapped, they modified, they put a new vinyl wrap on their license plate. And listen, I got to say, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, here's the, hang on, loading it up again. Here's the video. I'm not worried about concealing their identity because they obviously have put it on the internet for all to see. And they've taken a vinyl wrap, and then they take yellow vinyl and go for a next layer. And, it's illegal. It's actually an arrestable offense to modify your license plate. Let's see here. I won't pull it up right now, but there is arrest authority. When you do that, you cannot deface your plate. And in modifying it temporarily, listen, if you did it off duty, it's for the purposes of a show car, a photo, and then they peeled it off again. Can't drive on the road with that. Not legal. But it is great content creating. So I'll have to stitch that later. Now, something I jumped and did not do what I need to do, which is discuss Vision Zero enforcement team. They are the magical group of officers working diligently every day to make the road safer for you and I. How do they do that? What do they do? What's the deal? Well, first of all, they're focused on the big four. They're looking for drivers who are speeding, driving aggressively, driving distracted, driving impaired. Those are the driver activities. As I say, driver activities, because we're talking about people in the cages in those cars and trucks that they actively choose to engage in. Nobody speeds by accident. There's no whoopsie-doo. There's an active decision-making process, and they decide to put the pedal to the metal and go beyond the speed limit. They make the choice. Our officers go and give them the consequences that they earned, that they chose. If you choose to speed, you should be accepting of the consequences. Shouldn't be I didn't mean it, I didn't know better, because we know that you know. And I know that you know that you know that I know. And then we have aggressive driving and distracted driving. These are, again, activities known to lead to serious injury and death. And people still engage in them every day. Impaired driving, I feel like we don't even have to talk about it, but somehow we do, because people aren't getting the message. We're still arresting people all the time. More either drugs or alcohol or a combination thereof. Not okay. Where are they today? They are in 33 Division and 12 Division. Those are neighborhoods like Weston, Mount Dennis, Rockcliffe Smythe, Parkwoods, Donalda, Bayview Village, York Mills. Neighborhoods where people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. If it was your neighborhood, you'd want us there. And we make these announcements to let people know that we're there. We've talked about it on the show, and then Martin, who is someone that I discuss things on a regular basis with online, and we don't always see eye to eye. But he says he called me out for the same thing that somebody else called me out about a couple of weeks ago. Like, why do we announce where Vision Zero is conducting additional enforcement? Well, first off, we're conducting enforcement throughout the entire city. Police officers across the city are out there looking for people who are breaking the law, who are making the roads unsafe. Now, the extra focus in certain areas that we do, it's not a secret. We want people to know. We want people to slow down. We want people to do the right thing. And do I think that those who are choosing to break the law are watching the show? Probably not. If they're focused every day on watching our Twitter just to find out where they can exceed the speed limit, I'd be impressed, but I don't think that's happening. We message this, the messaging that we give are really for the people who live there, who know that we're there, who can feel safer, who can find comfort in the fact that we're spending time in their neighborhood. And we're all over the place all the time, but today we're more there than elsewhere, and it rotates, and it's a good thing. The team at Traffic Services that is Vision Zero is amazing. They do such great work, and they have been recognized. But and of course I talk about it every time I come on the air. They're really awesome, and they make a killer retirement lunch. Did we talk about that already? We did. My wife says good morning. I already we texted before the show, so I knew that she was coming. But good morning. We have Tim who says good morning, Sean. Happy FriYay. Happy FriYay to you. And we talked about Chase, who talked about the thing. Yeah, he says good morning from Brantford. Chase gets around. He's all over the place, which is awesome. We're going to talk about some stuff and things. I will play a video for you when I can load it up, which is, you may have seen already if you're watching our TikTok, which is Akela's video message that I promised to play on the show that was playing yesterday on the 4th. May the 4th be with you, that we totally didn't do a show on, and I wish we did, because it would have been cool. But today is that show. We're gonna time travel is not really a big thing in the Star Wars universe. Apparently, there was one episode of a cartoon version I didn't watch that time travel was used in. That's it. I did that little research because I was going to try and say, how do I promote the show using time travel? Does time travel exist in Star Wars? And I was surprised to find out that it does, but only in the cartoon form. We're not cartoon today, so we can't talk about it. In any case, if for those who celebrate Star Wars Day, I hope you had a great one. I love this stuff. I can't say that I'm a Star Wars. Like, I'm not deep diving into the Star Wars, but I do appreciate Star Wars. So much so that I had to have those sound effects loaded on the board, not just for yesterday, but for always. All right, we have Master Technician. Question, do plate lights, that's as far as I've read, have to be white, for example, amber or red? Master Technician brings up a fantastic question, and the answer to that question is they must be white. They have to be more than 3 lumens. They cannot. They're the only white light you're allowed to have in the back of your vehicle, in fact, and that must be white. So if I ever came across someone who had other than white, I pulled them over, and they got a ticket. Well, sometimes they got a warning, But I see blue, red, all sorts of colors, absolutely prohibited. Only one color allowed. Thank you for the question. If you've been interested and afraid to ask questions about becoming a police officer, it's a hot topic. I'll put this website on the screen for the moment, but we will have a deeper dive. We'll look and see what's going on the website, see if there's any new job postings that are out. We'll talk about it. And if you've got questions, get those questions ready, because I like talking about employment. We're looking for good people. We're looking for people who want to serve their communities. So www.tps.ca/careers. And like I said, in a little while, we're going to talk more about it. AJ wants to know, will I still be able to drive to Quebec if I change my G2 driving license from Ontario to Quebec? Wait, will I still be able to drive in Quebec if I change my G2 driving license from Ontario to Quebec? I don't know what the licensing system is in Quebec, and truly, as much as I keep talking about it, it has not sunk in. It hasn't stuck. I know the Ontario setup. I don't know everybody else's. They use numbers and letters and things, and I don't get it. Well, actually, they do Class 7. I don't know. I can't keep track. I know our stuff. That's what I know. So if you exchange for an equivalent, you'll have the equivalent there. And I would call ahead, find out. But you do get credit, and I don't know how it applies or what it translates to. But you should be good. Akela Draconis, the face. You can even see in his avatar. That is the man, the myth, the legend. Akela Draconis. Welcome. Tinto Tozy, good morning. And you're oddly enough, we say Quebec, and then we have someone who's in Quebec. Yeah. Good morning. You're not here all the time, or at least you don't voice out when you're here, but we appreciate you. Okay, let's see here. What's going on? A whole bunch of stuff has come in. Oh, okay. Apparently I have to buy donuts on the way home today. Good to know. Starship has a question. Do you consider 15 to 20 kilometers under the flow of traffic just as dangerous as over the limit? Under the flow of traffic. Anything over the speed limit is illegal. if you're doing 15 to 20 kilometers under the flow of traffic because they're doing 15 to 20 kilometers over the posted speed limit, then the people who are speeding are the problem, not the people who are driving the speed limit. There is no world that that the person speeding is in the right and the person driving lawfully is in the wrong. It just doesn't work. You cannot break the law. So if you're doing 15 to 20 and you are passing people who are driving lawfully, they are not the problem, you are. Very clear. So if you're doing 15 to 20 kilometers under the speed limit and everyone else is doing the speed limit, is it dangerous? It shouldn't be, because if you're driving the speed limit and you see people doing 15 to 20 under, which they're legally allowed to do, and as long as they're in the right lane or the righter lane, so the left lane is the passing lane, not the fast lane, it's the passing lane, you should be able to pass them safely on the left. Now, if they're camping out in the left lane, they should get a ticket. But they'd still not be breaking the law if they were in the center or right lane doing the speed limit or below the speed limit, because the limit is the limit, not the minimum. My Ring doorbell's going off. I love it and I hate it. My Ring doorbell. I love knowing what's going on, but my wrist vibrates and interrupts me. Messes with my flow. Okay. Scrolling back because there's lots of stuff to talk about. And there's always lots of stuff to talk about. And thank you to everyone who follows us. If you don't already follow us, please do. We recently, actually, let me get the update. The update is, when I load TikTok, I wonder if we've broken the threshold. 615,000.9. Today's a 616,000 day, I'm sure of it. But it's awesome. Thank you, everyone who supports the channel on all of our platforms, but on TikTok is the one with our biggest audience. So thank you to you, you TikTokers. If you're watching on TikTok, please hit the like on the live stream until your fingers go numb. Tap, 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 tap. We appreciate it. We can't see that you're doing it, but we know that you're there, and we appreciate you. If you're so inclined, please share it, because we would like that too. Okay. We talked about this. We talked about that. There we go. Can I pull a trailer with a G2 license? Yes, you can. You have restrictions, but those are the ones that we should all know about, which are in the first 6 months not having more than one person under the age of 20 who is in the vehicle between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. In terms of the second 6 months, you can have up to 3 passengers under the age of 20 between 12 and 5 a.m. As long as, unless of course they're family. If they're immediate family, you can have more than those numbers. But at 0 blood alcohol content, that's really it. Nothing else to, and of course no drugs. That should be forever. Like, no one should. These things should never need to be said because they should be so obvious. What is this? Oh, someone wants me to get political and discuss, from my perspective, what are my thoughts on the proposed changes by some mayoral candidates to remove bike lanes on major corridors like University and Bloor. I don't get political usually, so all I can, what I've been reading is that some say that there is a negative impact to ambulance and traffic response, well, traffic in general, and ambulance response times, because they're talking about specifically the University corridor, which takes you to Hospital Row. So apparently there is a negative impact to hospital response, and that's a problem. So if that is accurate, I don't know whether it is or not, then I would say that then it should be rethought. Maybe it should be on a different street, not the one where every major hospital with every major specialist is on. That's just saying. It sounds logical to me. Otherwise, I like being able to protect our bicycle and vulnerable road users. I like that there's an opportunity to keep them safe. And I also understand from a driving perspective why that can be frustrating. But we need to make roads safe for everyone, and that includes those who ride bicycles and use other mobility devices. I'm not saying mobility device and bicycle. People get really upset if I can. Those are not the same thing. And true mobility devices are generally on the sidewalk, although there are some discussions of bringing mobility. They're called urban. Is it urban mobility scooters? Anyway, there's new stuff in the works. Anyway, Brendan, I hope that answers your questions. Ellie wants to know: Can you tackle 4-point harnesses? More specific, a retractable. I can't speak. I'm in water. A retractable. I really can't speak. Retractable. Yeah, I'm reading it correctly. It's not coming out right. 4-point. That's DOT approved. So the big thing is if it's truly approved and legal and appropriately installed, I'm sure it would be okay. I say that it has to be approved. It has to be. It cannot just be something you bought on Amazon and you throw in. I actually have some great video of a 4-point harness, 4 or 5-point harness, 6-point harness, a harness being installed, and it is a bit of a joke. I mean, the installation was hilarious to watch. It was just basically removing bolts and adding new eyelet. What are they called? They're basically a bolt with an eyelet, and then they used quick clips or spring clips, carabiner style clips to attach the seat belts. And those things fail. They're not appropriate. They're not permitted on the road. So if you have something that's legal for the road, it has to be legal. It's not just 4-point harness that retracts. It has to be a legal approved device here. Then if it was legal and approved, then it would be okay. But the ones that aren't, first of all, the true racing harnesses, which they are not retractable, they'll be loose. Nobody gets put in like a race car driver, because you need a team to put you in the seat. And so you would have them basically strap you in to the point where you become one with the seat. If that were true and it was a proper seat, it would be safer, wouldn't it? It's more complicated than that. If you get a racing harness put in your seat, it's an Amazon one, you're still going to have to put your regular seatbelt on top, which makes it look ridiculous. And the ones that are not legal for the road, well, they're not legal for the road even if they are race safe and approved for the track. So you cannot actually remove your OEM harness, your OEM 3-point. Okay. Let me scroll back. Oh, the speeder. Did I press the right one? No, it updated before I pressed the button. Ambulance are delayed by too many cars, not bicycle routes, which can be wide enough for emergency vehicles. Interesting. Again, I don't know the stats. I'm going based on what I read in the media. And I'm not really paying attention to the race for mayor. This is the button I tried to press when I pressed the wrong button. It's because it updated. It all scrolled away. Let's not forget the speeder bike. I mean Harley. Okay. He said it, so we'll do it. Pressing here. There we go. I'm going to share the screen so you can see what we're talking about. Boom. Okay, you can win a Harley. And I got to say, I bought my tickets in time for the early bird prize, number 2. I did not win. I am not disappointed. Somebody won. They were very deserving because they won. But you can win. At least you can get in now and get your chance before July 5th to be in for the $500 Harley-Davidson gift card, which is the early bird prize number 3. Of course, the grand prize is a 2022 Harley-Davidson Touring Street Glide. 1 ticket is $20, 3 tickets for $50, 8 tickets for $100. And why are we talking about this? Because it is all in support of Special Olympics Ontario. Great people. You can be a good human and also support a great cause. I like it. I like it a lot. If you are looking for ways to connect with us, if you're not happy with your current platform, you're watching on TikTok, but you like having your face on screen, you can do that by going to trafficcop.ca. You can choose to connect with us any which way you prefer. And I have all sorts of links here. Not only do we have links to buy your tickets, but you can get links to our other platforms. So TikTok, our Discord server, our podcast. Hey, look, there's a link for about hiring. All my socials, because I have VoiceOver Cop socials. I'm going to be adding all sorts of places where I do guest appearances in terms of shows, podcasts that I've appeared on. I'll try and keep those things there. We have our YouTube. We have just lots of stuff, lots and lots of useful information. The ones that I love pointing to, I actually put a title of useful: how to renew your license plate, check your driver's license status. And it's really for when you're loaning your vehicle to somebody. You want to make sure that they're licensed, because if you loan your vehicle to somebody and you don't know, they say, hey, I'm licensed, can I borrow your car? And they show you your car. How do you know that that's valid? It's great that they have a card. Doesn't mean a thing. They may have had some unpaid fines and it was suspended. Now you loan them your car, and not only are they not insured because they're technically unlicensed, they're suspended, they are... What else is it? You are eligible for a ticket if you let them use your car because they're unlicensed. So there's the insurance perspective, and also the fact that you're responsible. Riding an e-bike or an electric kick scooter, here's the pilot information so you can read up on it and understand what qualifies as an e-bike or e-kick scooter in the province of Ontario. If you're going to be buying a motor vehicle, check to see if it's stolen or not before you buy it. Do your due diligence. And, of course, if you're a new resident or you're visiting, you're driving here, the laws and all the requirements right here. Trafficcop.ca to get that. Cool. Moving along. We got lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of questions. Hey, if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff in general, occasionally donuts. And we do that Monday to Friday, generally from 10 to 11. Sometimes that doesn't work out. Yesterday, we weren't here at all. And we have magical friends like Akela Draconis, who talk about stuff and things. I want to upload something. Can I upload something here? How do I do this? I have to do a separate window? Maybe I have to do a separate window. Stand by, because I don't want the day to go without. Hopefully this doesn't mess it up. Maybe I'm going to mess it up. Hang on a second. We'll do it from another computer. I want to make sure that we play the video. If you haven't already seen the video, it was a magical video. I don't even know what platform we're on. Hang on. Stand by. Do I need music while I do this? If you are trying to ask questions on Twitter, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because, why? Well, because we can't see stuff from Twitter. So if you're on Twitter and have a burning question, jump over to our YouTube, and that will allow you to ask us questions very easily, in fact. Okay. There we go. I just need to, that's awkward. Leave page. I did the wrong thing. Here we go. Video storage. Upload a video. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, we're uploading. And we're uploaded. Before I forget, I want to share this video. Video storage. Here we go. No, it's not. Come on. Maybe I can play it from here. Oh, it's processing. That's why. Okay, as soon as it's ready, it should show up. This is not going smoothly, is it? No, come on. Okay. It'll work if I do this. Mute. So smooth am I today. Here we go. Akela, I hope you're watching, because here you are being played on the show. As I say that, no, don't do it. Here we go. Video storage. Here we go.
This is Akela Draconis reminding you to stay safe, don't have a good day, have a great day, and may the 4th be with you. This is the way.
I enjoy watching that. I've watched that several times now because yeah, it's cool. We have cool people who watch the show. I had a lot of fun. I didn't know what was coming. He sent me something, so that was for yesterday. That didn't get played yesterday on the show because there was no show, so we played it today. Akela, thanks very much for sending that. This is cool stuff. I love it when we have audience participation, and that's the same Akela who reminded us to talk about the Harley. I want to know where to get a suit like that. Okay, Ontario Kayak Fishing Adventures asks, did we talk about the license plate being wrapped? It's against the law, so much so that it's actually arrestable. But it's not permissible no matter how cool it looks. Also, when they finally mounted that to their license plate frame, the frame covered the Ontario and the Yours to Discover, which they so diligently added. Totally illegal. $110 is the minimum you'd be seeing there. Are police officers allowed to enter private property to do a field sobriety test? If it's in relation to the operation of a motor vehicle, yes, they can, because operating a motor vehicle is, whilst impaired, is illegal anywhere, private property or otherwise. Trivia question of the day. Oh, we'll have to circle back on that one. Is there a limit to how many headlights that you can have on a motorcycle? Well, on a car, headlights, your maximum 4. I don't know if there's a different limitation on a motorcycle. So, Greg, you've given me a good question that I don't have an answer to. I've seen Harley Davidson. Like, I have a dual headlight motorcycle. Harley makes a very clearly dual light. I would assume that the same. I'm going to assume, so I don't know if I'm correct. I'm going to assume that it's a 4 headlight maximum on motorcycles and on cars. It probably even says motor vehicle. Let's have a look. Now the maybe is not good enough for me. I needs to know. Headlight. So improper headlights. See, it just says motor vehicle, so I'm going to assume it's the same. I think it's going to be more than 4 lighted headlights. No motor vehicle shall carry on the front more than 4 lighted head. Same, it's a motorcycle or car. It's going to be the same. So I was right, unless there's an exemption somewhere that I'm not aware of, because I'm looking at the short form wording, and there could be additional information available elsewhere. But it looks like motor vehicle, which is all motor vehicles. Okay. Oh, interesting. So this is from Steve Fine. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Are electric bikes slower than 30 kilometers allowed on the sidewalk? Any electrical bikes allowed? No. In fact, in Ontario, well, in Toronto, because bicycling on the sidewalk is a bylaw specific to the municipality you're in. I'm not aware of any that allow cycling on the sidewalk unless you're under the age of 14, meaning 13 or younger. Since you must be 16 in the province of Ontario to ride a bicycle that is electric powered, an e-bike, that would make all e-bikes prohibited from sidewalks in Toronto, because you have to be 16, so you could not ride it there. So anybody who's considered, for the purposes of sidewalk law, I don't know the right way to, what's the right terminology for sidewalk law? Bicycles on sidewalks not allowed unless you're under the age of 14. And yeah, e-bikes, you have to be 16, so definitely not happening. What do we have here? Remove the source so I can close the window. Very good. Oh, this is a good question. Can police pass by a school bus when it has its stop sign and lights on? Legally, we are to stop just like anybody else. Police, fire, ambulance, no matter how urgent the call, technically speaking, we cannot pass. Is it possible that a police officer will make a determination that lives are at risk and someone's just, there's no one, like they're going to take the risk? Yeah. Would they be responsible and liable and possibly getting documented and charged? Possibly. But it's possible that if there was an active shooter somewhere, that someone's going to say, yeah, I'm not waiting. And they are responsible for what happens when they do that. According to the law, they would have to stop and not proceed until the sign and light are in. And it's really the lights, but the sign is an additional notification. So yeah, we got to stop and wait. We would hope that school bus drivers would see the lights and sign and hear the sirens and say, maybe we should turn the lights off, get all the kids safely secured, turn off the lights, and let this officer, fire or ambulance, paramedic get to where they have to go, because gosh darn it, it's important. Yeah, we'd hope that would happen. But it's a great question, and we've talked about it before, but it is a great question. Do I really want to know where the suit came from? Did you make it? I do want to know. I'm going to Disney soon. Was it off the shelf? Was it custom tailored? Let's talk. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So Chase was talking about dump trucks with G-class licenses, and apparently there's an exemption for farm plates. But I don't do the farm thing because I'm not aware of. I don't deal with farm stuff. Farm stuff is usually near farms. I don't think we have any farms here. Not really. But okay, who's answering Dr. Nick? Abu Jabbar. What is this? How can I know the traffic violations that are on my record, a camera or something else? So if you have, if you want to check on the status of your license, well, first of all, if your address is correct, which it has to be by law, you have 6 days after moving to change your address or update the ministry of the change of address. So you should be getting a notification of any camera or charges against your plate. If you were charged by a police officer, you were given a charge in your hand, likely, and you'd be aware of the allegation or the charges. Whether you have convictions is going to be based on what you did next. If you didn't pay the ticket, you have convictions. You can certainly go to the Ministry of Transportation and apply to have an abstract printed for you. Things you can do. Question is there a max lumens a headlight can have? I believe it's 3,000 lumens. I've looked that up. I don't think I have not multiple numbers in my head, but I think it was 3,000 lumens that I found. And if there's any mechanics in the house, please let us know and confirm or deny it was if it's more than 3,000 lumens. Oh, can I still pay my license, renew my driver's license if I didn't pay for my full balance of my tickets? My understanding is unless you are paid off, they won't let you. The whole idea is to prevent you from renewing until you've paid off your. Now there's plates that so depending on the type of ticket you have, if it's a ticket against you, the driver, you won't be able to renew your license. If it's your vehicle plate ticket, like owner responsibility, like red light camera, or speed camera or parking tickets, you wouldn't be allowed to renew your plates. So there you go. Farms are plentiful in downtown Toronto, Sean. What do you mean? Yeah, that's happening. Okay. Oh, very cool. Okay, thanks, Akela. I appreciate it. Okay, Sarv. Hello, officer. Question. Oh, okay. License plate covers. Can we use transparent cover on license plate? The answer is no. You're actually not allowed to add license plate covers or any kind of, even license plate frames. The ones that come from the dealership that they advertise without paying you for, that plate frame is also obstructing or obscuring portions of the plate, and it's not legal. You wouldn't believe the variations of fake plates we also get. Paper, photocopies, laser copies, lots of stuff. And if I see this. Your best, what is it? I can't see your username here. I'm looking where I'm not usually looking. So the question is, if you're not allowed to use license plate frames and covers, why do they sell them? It is a fantastic question. It's because they're not illegal to own. They're not illegal to possess. They're not illegal to give, gift, or collect. They are illegal to drive on the road with. So they're not a regulated device, a regulated piece of plastic. But when you choose to put it on your vehicle and drive on the road, you are breaking the law. And that's it. Okay, we got that one. I'm be scrolling back in a second. Farms. Brendan has a question. I think I skipped some stuff from Brendan, not intentionally. Just as things scroll, I think, and you have some good questions. You're asking about, do police advise officials on policy? I think that's what the question is. But I'm going to scroll back to see what else we missed. It might be the same question, and you just repeated it. But in any case, hang on a second. You asked that a couple of times. Let's see here. This is me trying to catch up on a whole bunch of stuff so that I can answer your questions. But that's what it's all about. Also, I was out later than normal last night. We attended the Crime Stoppers Chiefs Dinner. Yes, 25th anniversary. An amazing organization that helps to make Toronto safe, to help catch those who choose to make it less safe. And as soon as I was about to press something, I didn't press it in time. Can you get pulled over for speeding if you're just going with the flow of traffic? Yes. Yes, you can. Flow of traffic does not mean legal. Flow of traffic is a great concept which deals specifically with entering or exiting the highway. In general principle is that you keep up with the flow of traffic. You don't do 40 in an 80 because that's less safe than doing 60, 70, 80. You got to be in the right lane, doing the right speed, but you're not allowed to exceed the speed limit. So if every person in front of you is doing 150, you don't get off doing 150. You would get charged. Now, I could say that any one of the drivers could be charged. It doesn't necessarily mean you, because generally we pull over one vehicle at a time. But that doesn't mean that you are safe. You are definitely not free to go whatever I was going to use a nasty name, but I'm not going to use a nasty name because I don't want to be that guy today. I don't want to call them clowns or violate. Well, violators is appropriate. Traffic violator is the appropriate term. But I've been saying clown a lot. Bozo, I used to say. So yeah, don't be one of them. Drive safely. What is this? Oh, that's so fantastically topical. My wife had a suggestion for a replacement for clown. Agents of Chaos. I like that. Okay. Okay, so this is I was looking for previous stuff, but I can't find it. How does the Toronto Police Service give recommendations for improving safety? Are recommendations given, or is just data is shared with policy analysts, and the police don't provide feedback? We're involved in all sorts of committees. We hear from stakeholders. We are stakeholders. A lot of conversations, but we aren't the decision makers. We provide information. Laws are changed by lawmakers. They often ask for information, statistics, and opinion, and that'll get shared. But we don't just say this is the way we want it to be and this is the way it is. Very often we want things and we don't get them, but we do have a seat at the table to share information. Can you make a U-turn at a red light if there's no cross traffic, or do you have to wait for green? If you cross the line, the stop bar, when it's not green and you're not making a right turn on red after doing what you need to do as a right turn, a legal, lawful right turning driver on red. That didn't sound right because it was overly complicated. But no, you cannot make a U-turn on red. You'd get a ticket for proceed before green if you came to a stop. If you didn't stop, you'd be failed to stop for a red light. I have a parking ticket that I've yet to pay. So this is a follow-up on the last. You can't renew your license if you don't pay your parking tickets, if it's is my understanding. And you can't renew your license plate, but you should be able to renew your driver's license from what I understand. We have a dad joke. I'll flag this for later. Okay. If you are traffic services, are you responsible for all the traffic downtown? We are the division, which is really a support unit for the entire city, a citywide unit for traffic investigations. And so if there's a collision, we're investigating it, or we're involved. We're the people who would be doing that. For highway traffic, for dedicated Highway Traffic Act enforcement, because all police officers can certainly write tickets, but we have dedicated enforcement groups. We have the reconstruction unit. We have the motor squad. We are the people. If it goes zoom zoom, or vroom vroom, or I guess now it's bzz, bzz, I don't know. It sounds electric vehicles made, but if it rolls, we deal with it. Yeah, is there anything? Even trains, we do train investigations. Let's see here. What is a diplomat's plated vehicle exempt from? Well, they're not really exempt. Generally speaking, it identifies that plate as being associated with a dignitary, or the word that I never seem to remember, but I want to remember it. They can still be charged. They can still, all these things can still happen, but they're subject to the laws of their home country, is how I interpret it. And what essentially, if there was a large issue, they could be deported. They could be disassociated from their place of work. Why can't I come up with that name when I want to know what it's called? Stuck for words. I was saving this for later. Putting it back. Put it in. Oh, what's this one? What is this? You mentioned that the police have made recommendations that didn't get enacted. I'm curious if you know off the top of your head any recommendation that the police want that was rejected or not. I don't. I know that I don't know if it was communicated or if it was just a plan, but for instance, we would very much like to see, and I think even the MTO is looking for it, to see e-bikes designated into 3 sections. Like there's pedelec, cargo, and this electric motorcycle style, that they should be independently identified and not lumped in together as e-bike, because the cycling community, who are truly cyclists, they identify, or at least, and I believe that an e-bike is a pedelec. The ones that are motor vehicles disguised as an e-bike and loopholed in shouldn't get the same rights and privileges. And if you look at the city of Toronto, there are regulations separating, like certain ones can be in e-bike, certain ones can be on bike paths, bicycle lanes and cycle tracks, and other ones can't. Like if a pedelec can go anywhere, but you can't take an electric scooter and go in the park. Like there's all, and those should be clearly defined in law as opposed to bylaw. So yeah, that's I think that would be a good example. We would love to see that come, and it didn't make it last time. Sometimes it's not because they don't want to do it. Sometimes it's because it's just didn't make it in time, and the next time they revisit it, then it'll happen. But other than that, I can't think of anything. Let's see here. Can I have a vanity plate with an Ontario plate at the same time? You mean vanity? So a custom plate is called a vanity plate. Do you mean, can you display a license plate that isn't a license plate? You can't confuse your license plate. You can't display. I've seen people who have historic plates. Don't do that. I've seen people who put plates from other countries on, and I can't give you the answer verbatim, but my understanding is you can't do it. Akela says ambassadors. No, but it's not ambassadors I was looking for. It was from the literal block, and I'm still blaming the Crime Stoppers night because I was out later than normal. I didn't go to bed till midnight. I had 4 hours sleep. This is why my words don't work, but actually that's not actually a lot more sleep than I normally get. Okay. Let's see here. If you have dash cam footage of a driver driving dangerously, should I report them to the authorities? Absolutely. You can go online. If it happened in the city of Toronto, you can go online and make a report at tps.ca, and there's links there. What's it called? The Citizens Online Report Entry to a Core. Citizen, that's the right acronym. If you go there, you can make a complaint about a neighborhood driving issue. You can also go and you can also report about a specific driver. Now, you can't upload a video, but you can add a text link to a YouTube video that you've uploaded or a download folder so that you have options. And if it's truly dangerous that you think somebody is it's an emergent situation, someone's going to get hurt if immediate police response isn't taking place, because they could be all over the road. It could be an impaired driver. There's something going on. It could be a medical emergency. It's not just someone driving dangerously that it's dangerous. Dangerous is actually a threshold to criminal activity. So if you're so concerned about traffic safety, the online report's not going to cut it. You got to call 911. So it depends on what you see and what you believe immediate risk of harm is. Is it easy to join the RCMP? Well, having never joined the RCMP, I don't know. Becoming a member of the Toronto Police or any police service is a competitive process, and it is generally a tough thing. Not everybody who applies gets hired, and not everyone who gets hired graduates. There are people who flunk out for various reasons. So, embassy. You said ambassadors. It took me a while. Embassies. That's who gets the red plates. See, we're having a slow brain day, so it trickles down. So I don't know how we got there finally. RCMP maybe have triggered it somehow, whatever. We're talking about diplomatic plates and what happens if someone gets arrested or violates laws. They can be taken back essentially to answer to their embassy or embassy lead, and it could be a situation where they're deported. Depending on the severity. Wow, that took a long time. Canada, Ontario wants to know, I got into a collision. I'm going to live update because we don't say accident. Accidents are oopsie-doos, and collisions are when someone made a mistake. So they got into an accident when they were 17 and got into, in judgment, not to drive. Does it count as an adult? So you got a suspension? Did you get a disqualification? Do you have a license? I don't know. I don't know enough about what you're saying. Like a collision. Yeah. Who gave it? Was it the courts who told you can't drive? A disqualification? Was it a lifetime ban? Did you have a medical suspect? Like, I need more. I don't know how to answer you. If I'm caught speeding on a highway, if I'm caught speeding on a highway in the left lane, should I pull over to the left shoulder or make my way to the right shoulder of the highway? So on a divided highway where the center is a barrier or a grassy knoll, technically you can pull over to either side. But re-entry to the highway is going to be less safe because now you have to enter the faster, supposed to be faster lane. Ideally, I will always pull people over to the right if possible, but when you see the lights and sirens and you're looking behind, and we stayed to the left, you can pull over there. You can technically and legally pull over to the left lane if there's a shoulder there. Otherwise, the right lane. I more often than not want you on the right lane, and I will, give you directions out the window if you're not doing what I want you to do. But I don't actually have a problem with left lane when a shoulder exists. It's a good question, though. What should I do if someone rear ends me and then drives away? Hopefully you have a dash camera, and hopefully that dash camera has a front and rear facing camera, because then you would have the identification, well, hopefully a license plate, possibly a good description of the driver, but you call police. Failed to remain collision is a reportable situation. So call police, put yourself in a safe place and call police. And take direction from dispatch, and whatever they suggest is the right thing. It might be go to the collision reporting center, depending on the situation. If it's minor, if there's no injuries, if it's minor, if it's major, you're going to be waiting for an ambulance. All depends. Everything depends. Am I allowed to be outside of a business with a sign stating their poor practices? That's not really my area that I can give you a good answer. I don't think that. I think there's potentially some issues. Is it a police issue? I don't think that just having the sign while you stand there complaining may not be an issue, but I would find out from someone other than me, only because that's just not an area that I've dealt with. You see people doing it. Writing reviews on Google might be a better way to spend your time. Calling the media might be a better way to spend your time, and not actually engaging in what could escalate into problems or even a physical fight. You don't know what. I don't know what could come of it. But I think there's better ways to do things than stand in front of a place with a sign. You probably even get more traction, but you have to be very careful, because you could be looking at libel, where you're saying that they have poor practices, but if it's seen to be untrue, you could be liable. So I would probably just refrain from doing it, but get some legal advice. It's worth calling a lawyer. Let's see here. Oh, and of course, if it's their property, not just on a public sidewalk, but if it's on their property, they can trespass you or have you removed or call police on you. Do officers write notes in the computer system about traffic stops when issuing a warning and no ticket? If yes, how long can they stay? Can TPS see notes from York Regional Police or other regions? So we write notes in our memo books. We also make notes when issuing a printed warning or a ticket. A verbal warning where I say, hey, slow down, and that's it. Chances are, other than the fact that your license plate was run, and I may have some notes in my memo book in relation to that stop, the detailed kind of specifics of the event may not be recorded anywhere. Depends on the officer and how they do their thing. If you're issuing a printed warning, then a whole story likely is going to be recorded, similar to that of an actual ticket. They were driving at this time at this place at that speed. Lights were up. Whatever the details are, it'll be recorded, and then that record will remain forever, as far as I know. And yes, York Regional Police can see it. Toronto Police can see it. Other regions can see it. We share information. So if you were pulled over in York, but you were stopped the day before in Toronto, and you were given a printed warning, then they'd be able to see that, absolutely. And it's not good. We have a late hello to the story. How you doing? Coming in from Twitch. We have Lucky Rider. Fantastic question. Is Toronto Police doing anything about illegal e-bikes that are modded to go faster? Seen an e-bike the other day doing 60 plus kilometers an hour on College. We are doing a lot to educate and discuss these issues. When we catch these riders, they're being charged. They're on prohibited motor vehicles that are not licensed for the road. They could be eligible for tickets like drive no insurance on a motor vehicle, drive no insurance, drive no license. They're motorcycles, right? An e-bike that goes 60 is a motorcycle. They have no plates. They can be charged for that. They have improper braking systems, not capable of stopping their vehicle appropriately from the speeds. There's all sorts of violations, and I would charge them for each and every one of them. So are we doing that? It depends on the discretion of the officer as to how many of those charges they're going to lay. They might just go with unsafe motor vehicle because they are. They haven't been certified. They're not safe for the road. There's a ton of different things, and we are charging people. But we have to catch them. Not that they're running away. We have to catch them because we have to see them doing it. And unfortunately, there's no license plates on them, so we can't just get reports of, there was a blue bike going too fast. Sadly, it's not enough. So very, very much a situation where we have to find them. Does having a previous medical suspension prevent you from obtaining an AZ or DZ license? It depends on, you have to get cleared. There's a medical component to having those licenses. I think it's an annual checkup, in fact. So you have to maintain that. So if you were suspended previously and you then pass, I imagine you pass, but I don't actually have any experience in that other than knowing that you have to get a regular checkup. Cleared. You have to be cleared. What would be speed? Okay, so what would the grounds needed for an officer to search a vehicle for a speed measuring warning device? We'd have to have reasonable suspicion, reasonable belief that the device is there. It's different than reasonable probable grounds. It's a lesser bar. If I were, as an example, to use a radar device and I press the trigger and it activates and I see the car slam on the brakes, pretty good indication that you have one. And that would be grounds for me to pull you over under the suspicion that you have one and search your vehicle. It's a lower bar than it would be for other things. Okay. Zombie says good morning, which is an old message because you have a dad joke already, so I've scrolled back. So Brendan says, the hospital access is not limited with bike lanes. The hospital mentioned something about it. I haven't seen it. I know that we have tons of communities who complain that limited access to the bike lanes is impacting their ability for even ambulances to get to their homes. I've been to meetings where people are making those statements. I don't know if it's true or not. I just know that people are complaining about it. Let's see here. Jules, should we use oncoming lanes if EMS or police is coming through? No. EMS or police or fire can use oncoming lanes. They have lights and sirens to do that. You need to pull over and let them through. So that's what they need to do. You need to pull over to the nearest curb or edge of roadway. That's it. There's no go to the opposing lane. That's just unsafe. And we know that people can only do that. So we're expecting you to do what the law says you should do and not, make up your own stuff. And I'm not saying you're making your own stuff, but people do the darndest things when lights and sirens are active. Just saying. Is it illegal to turn left onto a one-way street from a one-way street on a red? Actually, in Ontario, the only time you can turn left on a red is from a one-way street to another one-way street, as long as there's no sign preventing it and that it's safe to do. Jacob says hello, Sean. I say hello, Jacob. Is my car legal if I chop off the roof? It may not be safe. Your A pillar and B pillar and so on provide a essential roll cage, and I don't believe that it would be considered safe if you just chopped it off. Generally, convertibles have A pillars that are reinforced that will sustain or maintain rigid structural integrity, even when it's upside down. It shouldn't fold like a $2 bill. What's this? Interesting. Mark wants to know, why doesn't the government designate the 407 for only transport trucks? It's not government anymore. It's privately owned. They leased it to somebody. It's no longer their purview. Is it legal to tint the rear windows 5 to 10%? Rear windows, the windows directly behind the driver, all the way to the back of the vehicle, can be as dark as you want. You don't even have to have windows. What is this? I still like the Agents of Chaos statement. We are arriving dangerously close to the end of the show. No, it ticked. It's 11 o'clock. I want to see if there's anything else that is a burning question that needs to be answered. Otherwise, we're going to go into dad jokes and wrap up the show. I'll save this one. This is a dad joke. Okay. Got to switch gears. And yes, Akela says goodbye. He says he's got to switch gears. Stay safe. Remember, don't have a good weekend. Have a great weekend. And if anyone missed the Akela Draconis May the 4th video clip, I'm playing it again before the end of the show. If there's a collision and someone got injured, If there's a collision and someone got injured, may one or both vehicles move to the side and let the flow of traffic go before. Depends on if it's a major collision, if it's an injury, we don't care about traffic flow at that point. We care about the safety of the people in it. Don't move your vehicles. If it's a significant injury, you don't want to moving somebody could we're talking life-threatening injuries, don't do anything. You call police and get direction from dispatch. If it's a minor collision, there's no injuries and the vehicles are drivable, pulling off to the side of the road is great. We used to tell people to get right off the highway if they could do it, because what's important for minor collisions, we're not going to do a reconstructionist workup on a fender bender. Exchange information, and you can do that off the side of the road or off the road. But if it's a significant injury, we may be plotting it out. We may be reconstructing it. If someone dies, God forbid, there's some significant work that has to be done. So take direction from dispatch. All right, I think we're good. So we got 2 guys walk into a bar. The third guy walked around. Yesterday I heard, or a couple days ago, it was 2 guys walk into a bar, the third guy ducked. Same difference. We got, for the dad joke portion, while driving, every time my dad saw the Watch for Children sign, he said, "Wow, what a great deal. I could use a new watch." That's actually very good. What do you call a feud between celebrities? A Star Wars. It's not that's answer. Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I mean, I actually do like Star Wars. I watch it with my kids. We have a fun. And Mandalorian is essentially a modern Western. Mandalorian's an awesome. I love Mandalorian. Okay, May 5th's joke. For years, I've suspected my wife of adding soil to my garden. When I asked her about it, she shrugged. The plot thickens. I don't really. I'm not feeling that one. What happens when you try to kick a volcano? You Krakatoa. Krakatoa? Today I learned that planets like to sing. They usually listen to Neptunes. These stink. Yeah, not interested. Why did the police officer go to bed? Because he wanted to catch up on some undercover work. I like that. That's actually good. Akela Draconis says, "Happy Cinco de Mayo." I was so focused on May the 4th be with you that I completely neglected the fact that it's Cinco de Mayo. Very cool. Thanks you for the reminder. He's always reminding us of good stuff. For the last time, at least this year, I will play the Akela Draconis May the 4th be with you clip.
This is Akela Draconis reminding you to stay safe, don't have a good day, have a great day. And may the 4th be with you. This is the way.
This is the way. That's awesome. Okay, I am going to press a button, and I will leave you with the traffic song that I absolutely love. We'll be back on Monday to do this all over again. I hope you have a great weekend. Drive safe, drive sober. Drive sober, no drugs, no alcohol. We want you to arrive alive. We want you to get there safely. And I will be doing something later this afternoon. I don't know if we're going to do live to tape or live and then replay later, or if we're going to go live to air. But we are going to be talking to a member of our police association who happens to be in charge of stuff and things when it comes to the police memorial. There is a police memorial the Ontario Police Memorial is actually this Sunday, and I'll be downtown for that reason. And it's going to be a somber day. It's going to be an important day. We'll be talking more about it later today. So if you are interested in hearing about that sort of stuff, tune in or keep on the lookout, because we'll either have it published as a podcast, pre-recorded, or go live and then publish it again afterwards. Have a great day. Here's the song, because it's a good song.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your Somebody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
Yep, that's a song. It never gets old to me. John says your new king will be crowned tomorrow. He says the Irish ain't fussed. I'm going to be in Ireland soon. I'm looking forward to it. And are you guys? Is anyone watching the whole coronation business? That's tomorrow. Are you tuning in? You can watch the record. Are you getting up at, is it 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning? I don't know. John says he sells passports in case I want to, make it permanent. That my visit. It's a visit. I'm gonna come see a bunch of amazing stuff. My first trip to Ireland, and visit family. So I have family there. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. My wife reminds everyone to have a safe day, and a specific message to me: bring donuts. Is there a particular flavor you want? Anyway, text me. Awesome. Goodbye. Ciao for now. Great weekend.